Have you ever felt like you were on the verge of something huge, only to find that after your spiritual awakening, things just feel normal? The magic that once seemed to envelop you starts to fade, leaving you wondering what's next. Is this the end of the journey, or is something deeper unfolding beneath the surface? If you've ever questioned what happens after the awakening when the signs, synchronicities, and intense spiritual experiences slow down, you're not alone. In fact, this quiet phase is where the real transformation begins. It's where you step into your true purpose, embrace a deeper sense of peace, and discover a new kind of abundance that doesn't come with a big bang, but with a profound inner knowing. So, let's explore what happens when the magic disappears and you're left with something much more powerful for yourself. Most people think a spiritual awakening is the grand finale, like reaching the peak of enlightenment. But in reality, it's just the doorway, not the destination. Awakening shakes everything loose. It shatters illusions, disrupts old beliefs, and floods you with synchronicities. It's intense, electrifying, even overwhelming at times. But what happens when the dust settles? That's when the real transformation begins. The journey beyond awakening is where you build prosperity, embody wisdom, and cultivate true spiritual wealth. At first, everything feels magical. Numbers align, signs appear, and it's like the universe is whispering directly to you. It feels like you've unlocked some cosmic VIP pass. But here's the secret. Those flashy moments are just the universe's way of getting your attention. They aren't meant to last forever. True spirituality isn't about chasing signs, it's about embodying the truth they point to. When the miracles fade, that's when you start applying the lessons. That's when spirituality moves from being a concept to a way of life. Think of it like learning a new language. At first, you need subtitles, constant guidance, and repetition. But at some point, fluency kicks in. You stop translating and just understand. The same happens with spirituality. The signs and synchronicities were your training wheels. Once they disappear, it's a sign that you've integrated what you once needed reminders for. That's when you move from seeking knowledge to living it. And that shift changes everything. But here's where most people get stuck. When the excitement of awakening fades, they think they've lost their connection. They wonder why the universe has gone silent. It hasn't. It's just waiting for you to take the lead. Imagine a teacher stepping back because the student is ready. That's exactly what's happening. The Buddha himself didn't spend his life chasing mystical experiences. He embodied his wisdom, living in a state of calm, effortless prosperity. That's the real goal. This is also when resistance shows up. The ego starts panicking, whispering doubts like, what if I'm losing my spirituality? That's just fear talking. Prosperity, peace, and abundance don't come from clinging to experiences. They come from deep inner knowing. This phase demands trust. It asks you to embrace the quiet and find power in stillness. That's where your real strength is forged. It's easy to feel spiritual when the universe is throwing breadcrumbs your way. The challenge is staying rooted when the external signs disappear. And here's the paradox. The quieter things get, the more transformation happens beneath the surface. It's like planting a seed. You don't see it sprouting immediately, but that doesn't mean nothing's happening. The real work happens underground, in the unseen. The ones who understand this don't panic. When life gets calm, they trust it. That's how they build unshakable inner wealth. They don't need proof, because they are the proof. That's when spirituality stops being a phase and becomes a foundation. So, what happens next? Once the chaos of awakening settles, life doesn't become harder, it becomes calmer. But that calm isn't emptiness, it's integration. It's the shift from chasing spirituality to being it. The flashing signs, the emotional highs, the dramatic breakthroughs, they step aside for something far more valuable, steady, unshakable peace. And that's when the next phase begins. At first, the silence feels strange. The wild synchronicities fade, the emotional roller coaster slows, and life starts feeling normal. But this isn't a sign of disconnection, it's a sign of mastery. Think of it like learning to swim. At first, you thrash around, gasping for air, overwhelmed by the waves. But eventually, you relax, float, and move with ease. That's where you are now. The chaos of awakening was the storm. This calm is the integration. It means spirituality isn't just something you experience, it's something you are. Some people panic at this stage, mistaking peace for emptiness. They think, where did all the magic go? But here's the truth. It didn't leave you, just became it. The external signs were like training wheels, guiding you toward deeper trust. Now that you don't need them, they naturally fade. Imagine climbing a mountain. At the bottom, every step feels monumental. But once you reach the plateau, the climb evens out. The view is stunning, but the struggle is gone. That's not a loss, it's the reward. When life calms down, it's easy to think the universe has gone quiet. But real wealth, whether spiritual or material, isn't built in chaos. It thrives in stability. Look at the most prosperous people. They don't chase fleeting highs. They master consistency. This stage is where you cultivate that same inner foundation. You stop reacting to every little shift and start moving with purpose. You no longer seek signs. You are the sign. And that shift, that's where real prosperity begins. You might notice people around you still chasing external validation, looking for meaning in numbers, messages, and coincidences. But you've outgrown that. Not because those things aren't real, but because you no longer need them to feel connected. It's like learning to drive. At first, you check every mirror obsessively. But once you gain confidence, you just know where you are on the road. That's where you are spiritually moving forward without needing constant reassurance. This is also when you realize that abundance isn't about chasing, it's about allowing. The Buddha didn't reach enlightenment through chaos. He reached it through stillness. He sat under a tree, surrendered, and let wisdom arise naturally. And that's your invitation now. Instead of running after answers, let them come to you. Instead of seeking magic, be the magic. This is the phase where you transition from a seeker to a master, not by force, but by trust. But here's the thing, some people miss this shift because they're addicted to the highs of awakening. They want the intensity back, mistaking it for progress. But progress isn't about constant fireworks. It's about sustainable growth. Think of a candle. It starts with a dramatic spark, but then settles into a steady flame. That flame is what lights the path ahead. And once you embrace it, you unlock an even deeper level of transformation. Because here's what happens next. The body begins to catch up. The spirit may have integrated the changes, but the physical form lags behind. And as it adjusts, something interesting happens. Your energy shifts, your habits change, and even your physical appearance begins to reflect your new state of being. Spiritual transformation doesn't just shift your mind, it rewires your entire system. The body is the last to catch up, and when it does, you feel it. Some days, you're full of energy, buzzing with high-frequency vibrations. Other days, you're exhausted, like you've run a marathon in your sleep. This isn't random. Your body is adjusting to a new way of being. It's shedding old density, recalibrating, and aligning with your higher state. And yes, that process comes with noticeable, sometimes bizarre physical changes. Fatigue is one of the most common signs. You're not just tired, you're drained, even after a full night's sleep. That's because your nervous system is rewiring itself. Think of it like updating an old computer with brand new software. The system needs time to process, integrate, and clear out what no longer serves it. The best thing to do? Honor the rest. Stop forcing yourself to push through. Real prosperity isn't about hustling 24/7. It's about alignment. And sometimes, alignment means pausing. Then there's the diet shift. Foods you once loved might suddenly feel heavy, or you crave things you never cared for before. Your body is speaking, listen to it. If you feel drawn to lighter foods, more water, or even fasting, it's because your system is cleansing. Many awakened individuals naturally move toward a more nourishing, high-vibrational diet. It's not about rules or restrictions, it's about tuning in. What makes you feel alive? Eat that. What drains you? Let it go. Your body knows. Even physical appearance can shift. Some people lose weight without trying, while others gain it as their body stabilizes. Skin glows, eyes look brighter, and posture improves. It's as if the internal transformation starts radiating outward. There's a reason ancient spiritual masters often looked luminous when the mind is clear, the body follows. This isn't about aesthetics, it's about energy. When you carry less emotional weight, it reflects physically. Lightness isn't just a feeling, it's a state of being. Sleep patterns get weird too. Some nights, you might wake up at 3 a.m. for no reason. Other times, you sleep deeper than ever before. Your body is processing a lot, often while you rest. Those random tingles, temperature shifts, or even moments of dizziness, they're part of the recalibration. Energy moves differently now. It's like your body is learning a new rhythm that aligns with your higher state of consciousness. And the more you surrender, the smoother it flows. But here's the key: don't fight these changes. Trying to cling to old habits, routines, or comfort zones only makes it harder. Instead, adapt. If your body craves movement, stretch. If it craves stillness, meditate. If it craves deep sleep, let yourself rest. The most prosperous beings don't resist evolution, they flow with it. The body isn't a barrier to enlightenment, it's the vehicle. Treat it well, and it will carry you further than you ever imagined. And just when you think you've settled into this new energy, something unexpected happens. Old emotions, past wounds, and unresolved patterns start resurfacing. Not to haunt you, but to be released. Because before you can fully step into your highest self, you must clear out everything that no longer belongs. Just when you think you've made it through the hardest part, the past comes knocking. Old wounds, buried traumas, and forgotten memories suddenly resurface, sometimes out of nowhere. It's not a setback, it's a final purge. Your body, mind, and spirit are syncing up, and anything unresolved must be cleared. Think of it like deep cleaning a house. At first, dust flies everywhere, making things look messier before they get better. But this isn't about reliving pain, it's about releasing it for good. This phase can feel intense. You might find yourself reacting emotionally to things that never used to bother you. Tears come unexpectedly, anger flares up, or waves of sadness hit without warning. But this isn't regression, it's detox. These emotions were always there, stored in your energy field. Awakening didn't create them. It just made you aware of what was already inside. The difference now? You finally have the strength to let them go. And that's a huge breakthrough. One of the biggest signs of this emotional purge is the sudden appearance of past patterns. Maybe old fears creep in, or past relationships pop back into your mind. It's like your subconscious is running a final test. Will you react the way you used to? Or will you respond as your evolved self? This is your chance to choose differently, to rewrite the script, to prove to yourself that you're no longer bound by old limitations. And when you pass this test, those patterns lose their grip on you. Practical action helps here. Journaling, breathwork, or even physical movement can assist in clearing these emotions. Instead of suppressing what arises, engage with it. Ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? Then process and release. Buddhist teachings emphasize impermanence, nothing stays forever, not even pain. The moment you stop resisting and allow emotions to pass through, they lose their power. Healing isn't about avoiding discomfort, it's about moving through it. The body also plays a role in this process. Ever notice random aches, tightness in the chest, or tension in your shoulders? That's where emotions have been stored. Releasing them can be as simple as deep breathing, stretching, or even getting body work like acupuncture or massage. Energy wants to move. When you help it flow, everything shifts faster. This is how you create true wealth, not just externally, but emotionally. A clear mind and open heart are the foundation of abundance. But here's the game changer. Once you release these old emotions, you create space. Space for new energy, new relationships, and new opportunities. That's why, during this phase, many people start feeling a deep disconnection from their past connections. Some friendships fade. Certain relationships feel misaligned. It's not personal, it's vibrational. You're shifting, and not everyone will shift with you. This isn't a loss. It's making space for your real soul tribe. Because what comes next is something no one expects: a period of deep solitude. But this isn't loneliness, it's a sacred transition. As you let go of the past, you naturally detach from those who no longer align with your energy. And while this can feel isolating at first, it's actually a sign that you're stepping into your highest path. At some point, you look around and realize you don't fit in like you used to. Conversations that once excited you now feel empty. Certain relationships feel distant, even if nothing happened. It's not that people changed, you did. Your vibration has shifted, and not everyone is meant to continue with you. This phase can feel isolating, but it's not a punishment, it's a recalibration. The universe is making space for connections that truly align with your evolved self. It's tempting to hold on, to shrink yourself to maintain old bonds, but think of it like outgrowing clothes. No matter how much you love that old jacket, if it's too tight, it's uncomfortable. Relationships work the same way. When your energy expands, anything misaligned starts feeling constrictive. And here's the truth: real prosperity, real abundance, requires letting go of what no longer fits. Because when you release, you create space for something far greater. This shift can even affect family dynamics. You may notice growing distance from relatives who once shaped your worldview. It's not about cutting ties. It's about recognizing that you no longer resonate with old narratives. Some people will try to pull you back, not out of malice, but because your growth challenges their comfort. Stay true to your path. The Buddha taught that detachment is key to enlightenment, not as rejection, but as freedom from what no longer serves you. Loneliness might creep in, but here's the paradox: this solitude is a sign you're on the right track. Many awakened souls go through a period of isolation before finding their true soul tribe. Think of a caterpillar in a cocoon. It doesn't socialize while transforming. It retreats, undergoes change, then emerges as something entirely new. Your cocoon phase isn't forever, it's preparation. The deeper your solitude, the higher your expansion. During this time, be intentional with your energy. Instead of clinging to old circles, nurture your own growth. Read books that expand your mind. Surround yourself with wisdom through podcasts, mentors, or even silent contemplation. True wealth isn't just about money, it's about the company you keep, including your own presence. When you become comfortable with yourself, you attract relationships that reflect your new frequency. And then, something remarkable happens: new people start appearing. Unexpected friendships form. Soul-aligned connections enter your life effortlessly. But they're not drawn to the old you. They're drawn to the authentic you, the one who isn't pretending, shrinking, or compromising. This is how real prosperity works. When you align with your truth, the right opportunities, relationships, and experiences flow to you naturally. And as this shift happens, you'll notice something else: those magical, undeniable synchronicities you once relied on. They start fading, but not because you've lost your connection to the universe. Quite the opposite. The reason signs and magic seem to disappear is because you no longer need them. At the start of your awakening, life felt like a cosmic movie. Angel numbers, vivid dreams, déjà vu scenes were everywhere, guiding you at every turn. It felt magical, like the universe was whispering secrets just for you. But then, suddenly, silence. The synchronicities fade, the intuitive nudges quiet down, and it almost feels like you've lost your connection. This is where many people panic, but the truth? This is a graduation. The universe isn't ignoring you, it's trusting you to walk on your own. Imagine a child learning to ride a bike. At first, a parent holds on tightly, guiding every movement. But at some point, they let go. Not because they don't care, but because they know the child is ready. That's exactly what's happening here. You've integrated the lessons, strengthened your intuition, and no longer need constant reassurance. Prosperity isn't found in seeking endless sign sits in trusting your own inner wisdom. And now, you're being called to embody that trust. This is the phase where true spiritual maturity begins. Early on, external confirmations were necessary to build faith. But spirituality isn't about dependency, it's about sovereignty. The Buddha didn't seek signs, he became the wisdom itself. That's your next step. Instead of looking outward for validation, start looking within. The magic hasn't disappeared, it's been internalized. Your intuition, discernment, and alignment are now the guiding forces. That said, the ego doesn't like this shift. It craves reassurance, proof, and certainty, so when the signs stop, doubt creeps in. Am I still on the right path? Am I doing something wrong? These questions arise not because you've strayed, but because you're leveling up. This is where faith becomes more than a concept, it becomes a way of being. Wealth and abundance flow to those who trust the process, even when there's no visible proof. Because certainty doesn't create prosperity, belief does. One way to navigate this phase is to refine your inner dialogue. Instead of asking for signs, practice deep listening. Meditation, silence, and self-reflection will reveal more than any external synchronicity ever could. Another powerful tool, presence. The more you engage fully in the moment, the more you see the subtle ways the universe still speaks. The sun warming your skin, a stranger's kind smile, a perfectly timed opportunity. This is everyday magic, always there, always flowing. Eventually, you reach a point where you don't need constant reassurance because you've stepped into your own authority, and that's when something profound happens. You stop chasing guidance and start embodying it. You no longer seek signs, you are the sign. The evidence of alignment is in your very presence, in the way life unfolds effortlessly around you. This is true abundance, moving with certainty, even in the absence of proof. And just when you settle into this deeper trust, something else shifts. A new sense of direction emerges, not because you're seeking, but because you are ready. You're no longer a student searching for answers. Now, you feel a quiet, undeniable pull towards something greater. Because the next phase isn't about receiving guidance, it's about becoming the guide. Something shifts deep inside you. No longer feel the need to seek answers. Instead, you feel a quiet but undeniable call to become the answer. The endless searching, the obsession with signs, the need for validation, it all fades. Not because you stopped caring, but because you know now. This is where true purpose is born, not from chasing, but from embodying. And the moment you stop looking outside yourself for direction, your path becomes crystal clear. At first, this new sense of purpose feels subtle. It's not a loud declaration or a sudden epiphany. It's more like a gentle pull-in inner, knowing that you're meant for something more. Maybe you feel drawn to share your wisdom, help others, or create something meaningful. But here's the catch. It won't come with a detailed blueprint. The universe won't hand you step-by-step instructions. Instead, it will place you in situations where your gifts naturally shine. And this is where many people hesitate. Am I really ready? Who am I to teach, lead, or create? Imposter syndrome sneaks in, whispering doubts. But understand, your purpose isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up as you are, sharing what you've learned, and allowing the next steps to unfold. The Buddha didn't wait until he had all the answers before he tore the torch from his own journey. That's what you're meant to do. One of the biggest signs of this shift is a change in your desires. Things you once chased, status, approval, even spiritual achievements, lose their grip on you. Instead, you crave depth, meaning fulfillment. You start asking, how can I serve? How can I contribute? This is wealth beyond money. It's prosperity of the soul. When you align with purpose, abundance follows not because you're chasing it, but because you're living in flow. Practical action matters here. If you feel called to guide others, start sharing your insights 7 in small ways. A simple conversation, a written reflection, or an act of kindness can set massive shifts in motion. If creativity calls, honor it. If leadership arises, step into it. Purpose isn't found in waiting, it's revealed in doing. And as you step into this role, something profound happens. You stop seeing life as something happening to you and start recognizing it as something happening through you. This is where the real magic begins. Doors open effortlessly. The right people, opportunities, and experiences flow into your life with uncanny precision. It's not luck, it's alignment. The more you embody your highest self, the more the universe responds. And as you embrace this path, you'll notice something else. Your sensitivity to energy skyrockets. You're no longer just aware of shifts in your own vibration. You can feel everything around you. And that's the next challenge. With heightened awareness comes a new responsibility, learning how to navigate this world with energetic mastery. Because when you're this attuned, environments, people, even food affect you on a whole new level. One day, you realize you're feeling everything more intensely. Crowded spaces drain you. Certain conversations leave you exhausted. Even the food you eat seems to carry a different energy. This isn't your imagination, it's a direct result of your spiritual expansion. When your consciousness rises, your sensitivity follows. You're no longer just reacting to the physical world, you're tuning into the vibration behind it. And while this heightened awareness is a gift, it also comes with a challenge, learning how to manage it. At first, this sensitivity might feel overwhelming. You walk into a room and instantly sense the emotions lingering in the air. A friend's frustration sticks to you like static. Even watching the news feels unbearable. But this isn't a weakness, it's an upgrade. Your ability to perceive subtle energies is sharpening, much like an artist refining their eye for color. The key isn't to shut it down, it's to master it. Spiritual wealth isn't about avoiding discomfort. It's about developing the tools to stay grounded, no matter what. One way to do this? Be intentional about your environment. Notice where you feel energized and where you feel depleted. Some spaces naturally uplift youngature, peaceful homes, places filled with love. Others drain you, like chaotic workplaces or heavy social settings. Pay attention. Your body is a finely tuned instrument, always giving you feedback. The more you listen, the more you can curate an external world that supports your internal expansion. This sensitivity extends beyond people, and places it affects what you consume. Processed foods might suddenly feel off. Alcohol, caffeine, or even certain music might leave you uneasy. It's not about rigid rules, it's about alignment. Ask yourself, does this nourish or deplete me? Your wealth isn't just financial, it's energetic. True prosperity comes when you treat your mind, body, and soul like sacred vessels, because they are. Energy hygiene becomes essential. Just like you wouldn't wear the same clothes for weeks without washing them, you need to cleanse your energetic field regularly. Meditation, breath work, grounding in natural of these reset your frequency. Even something as simple as a salt bath or deep exhale can shift your state. The Buddha often retreated into solitude, not to escape the world, but to reset from it. Make this a practice, and you'll move through life with far more ease. Over time, you stop seeing sensitivity as a burden and start recognizing it as a superpower. You instinctively know who to trust, what decisions to make, and where to invest your energy. Your intuition becomes razor sharp. Life feels effortless not because challenges disappear, but because you respond from a place of deep awareness rather than unconscious reaction. This is abundance in its purest form, moving through the world with clarity, confidence, and calm. And that's when something remarkable happens. The external world stays the same people, same places, same circumstances. But you're different. You no longer react the way you used to. Triggers lose their grip. Drama no longer pulls you in. Life feels normal, but not in a dull way, in a way that's peaceful, unshakable. Because for the first time, you're not just aware of spirituality, you are spirituality. One day, you wake up and realize something strange. Life feels normal. The intensity of your awakening has settled. The roller coaster of synchronicities, emotional highs and lows, and mind-blowing revelations, it's all leveled out. But here's the twist. It's not the world that's changed, it's you. You move through life with a calm detachment, unshaken by things that once triggered you. What used to feel chaotic now feels effortless. You're not reacting anymore, you're responding. And that's a massive shift. This is the phase where many people second-guess themselves. Did I lose my spiritual connection? Am I doing something wrong? But the truth is, you're doing everything right. You've reached a state where spirituality isn't something you practice, it's something you are. You no longer seek constant guidance because you embody wisdom. You don't chase abundance, it flows naturally. This isn't the end of your journey, it's the integration of everything you've learned. Think about it. Buddha didn't spend his days chasing signs and questioning his path. He simply was. He lived in awareness, moving with clarity and purpose. That's where you are now. You no longer need external confirmations to feel aligned. You trust yourself, your intuition, and the natural flow of life. This is true prosperity, not needing the universe to prove itself to you, because you know it's always working in your favor. That kind of certainty is pure wealth. And yet, there's a quiet beauty in this phase. The simple things: morning sunlight, deep conversations, a stranger's kindness feel more profound. It's not because life suddenly became more magical, it's because you became more present. The chase is over, replaced by a deep appreciation for what already is. This is the kind of wealth money can't buy: contentment, inner peace, and the ability to see abundance in every moment. That doesn't mean challenges disappear. Life still throws curveballs. People still misunderstand you. Obstacles still arise. But the difference? You're not the same person who used to struggle with them. You don't take things personally anymore. You don't get lost in drama. Your emotional resilience is unshakable. The world is still the same, but you experience it differently. And that shift changes everything. At this stage, you might feel like nothing big is happening, but that's because everything has already happened. The growth, the transformation, the awakening, it's all integrated now. You're no longer seeking enlightenment, you're living it. The external journey has led you right back to yourself. And from this space of complete inner alignment, a new kind of power emerges, zone that doesn't need validation, struggle, or seeking. A power that just is. And here's the final piece. When you reach this level of awareness, life has a way of calling you to something greater. A new opportunity, a deeper mission, or an entirely unexpected path reveals itself. Not because you're looking for it, but because you're finally ready. As you journey through this process, remember, awakening is just the beginning. True transformation happens when you integrate that wisdom into your daily life. So, what will you do with this newfound awareness? Will you continue to seek or embrace the abundant flow that's already within you? What if your purpose isn't something to chase, but something to become? Take a moment to reflect on your next step. How can you embody the highest version of yourself today? And if you're ready to embrace your true potential, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so we can continue this conversation. Together, we'll explore the limitless possibilities of your spiritual and personal journey.